A few years ago, y'all saw some movement back here.
Coach, your defense is performing exceptionally well right now. And I'm curious, when it's performing at that level, is it more just keep it on the tracks, or are you still looking to nuances and making changes and anything you can do?
Each week is so different. So, again, the main objective for us is to keep them from having more points than our offense. So, again, that's how we judge ourselves in terms of like how we're doing. So that's the most important thing there. And then we know in this league, each week is different. So the main thing is try to, within the 6 days, or in this case, four days, see what's best for this to stop this opponent, to minimize their playmakers. They got a good offensive line. They're working well together. The skill guys, I know the situation at quarterback, but, from what I saw on the tape, this guy can throw the ball around. He seems like he's pretty confident, has control of the offense. So it's going to be a challenge tomorrow night.
Jack Jones comes in 2 weeks, makes a humongous impact. What is it about him that allowed him to adjust and make a huge impact?
Some similarities probably with some of the verbiage, coming from New England. Again, I haven't been there for 8 years, but I'm sure there's some similar verbiage that goes on between the two defenses. The fact that he's been well trained, I know that, whether from college to the pros. I know the coaches that have dealt with him. And he has great energy, loves football. I'll take those guys any day of the week.
How did you keep your defense from maybe frustration and finger pointing last week when they're shutting them down the whole game and there's nothing coming from the offense?
The thing, we're all professionals here, and our job is to minimize what they do offensively and stop them from scoring points. And and the main objective is to win the game. So the biggest thing about this group is a resilient group. And again, they worry about what they have to do. They have to do their job. And the thing is, we know that we got to do our job better each week. Improvement, it's all about improvement. And the reason why guys don't get frustrated, because they're not thinking about it. They don't blink. Whatever the situation is, it doesn't matter. They know that we just got to do our job.
Your blitz rates, pretty low like the last month. Is it fair to assume?
I
said your blitz rates kind of, pretty low the last month. Is it fair to assume that against a guy making his first start without giving stuff away, you might want to heat him up more? You're smiling than you normally would?
There's no way to answer that question without giving anything away. But, we do what we think's best for the game. Sometimes it's the blitz, sometimes it's the drop 8, sometimes it's the rush 4, rush 5. Again, we're going to do what we think is best. At this point of the season, everybody's pretty much seen what everybody's done, week 14. And we're going to try – the program stays the same all the time. Stop the run, try to tackle, and then try to affect the quarterback. Whatever you think is best there, disguise, pressure, man, zone. I'm not trying to give you I'm purposely giving you a vague answer. So, I don't want to insult your intelligence, but like that, it is what it is.
Do you think they do a little more quarterback run game with him?
Everything's, when you got a guy that hasn't played a lot of snaps, my job is to be ready for everything and then prepare the guys to be ready for anything. So, I don't know what he's going to do. I know he's pretty creative in terms of what he's done in the past. So we're going to do what we think is best and prepare. That's the fun part about our job on defense. We got to prepare for a lot of stuff, a lot of motions, formations, players, coordinators, situations. I enjoy it. And then the jam-packed end of the short week, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Last thing from me real quick. Tyree inside, now that you've seen it on film and saw how successful he was last week, is that something potentially more of?
In my career, when you get those young rookies, those young players, and you move them inside, the defensive ends, it gives them an opportunity to grow, to learn to use their hands. Because, however you slice it, when you're talking about somebody that's had his success, he probably hasn't really been blocked since he was in Pop, even in Pop Warner. Truly blocked by. So when they get to this level and now they're professionals and guys that have skill sets that are better than what they went against in college and they're getting blocked, they got to use their hands. And that's one way, a tool that Robbie's used in the past, I've used in the past. Chandler Jones, I think I told you guys before, we started him off rushing inside. It helps those guys. And then they learn how to use their length. And then it's going to help them even when they go back outside.
Did he at all come in and say, hey, man, that was fun?
To me, rookies don't talk to the coordinator. They think, because I wish they would come and talk to me more often. Rookies, sometimes they're a little nervous coming to talk to me, but I'm sure he was smiling, his smile, whatever. I mean, he's pretty stoic face all the time, so I think he was smiling.
You talk about what you've seen from Easton. Did you go? Was it mostly preseason? Did you go back to college, watch North Dakota State stuff?
I keep telling you, I don't have any hobbies. I watch everything, everything I think is important. I mean, no hobbies.
Jerry was in his draft class, 2019. Did you speak to him? Maybe get some insight.
I do. This is my job. Wherever you can think of, we probably did it.
Talked to everyone, saw everything.
Hey,
that's
my
when he
answer.
gets for breakfast.
He loves Chargers quarterbacks.
Coach Antonio Pierce talked this morning about how at the beginning his idea was for the team as a whole to match Max Crosby's energy. How did you get the rest of the defenders to match that energy? Because that's what we've seen. And how do you continue this energy through these 4 weeks as the season goes the way it is?
That comes from Max and the players in the locker room, really, in terms of the energy. I think one of the things that, I don't want to speak for AP, but he's pointing out the objective, and then the players, they go execute that. And for me to say that, again, they're here in the NFL. They've been highly successful people in their lives. I don't know if any words from me is going to motivate them. I could always guide them, as a teacher would. I try to guide them in the right direction. And, I think AP made a great point about let's match Max's energy. And it's really the players making the choice. No different than when they were kids and they made a choice to try to be NFL players. That's what the fun part of our job is. Outside of winning games, outside of, wearing sweats every day, we get to see guys that are really motivated, guys that are young, that made these decisions at young ages, that continue to make decisions, and they execute it. And I'm always proud of those guys.
Coach, I have a two-parter. One,
you always have a two-parter.
I got not too many left, but is it hard to look at what happened on Sunday and be like, that was our best defensive performance without the win, or can you still look at it and be like, this was our best football? And also, can you just also talk about the leadership of Marcus Epps and what he brings to his team?
Anytime we lose, obviously that's not the objective. So is it hard? I hate to lose. So I hate to lose. And so is it hard? We just learn from the experience. Each game is a chance to get better and grow from it, whether you win by 40 or you lose by 3. It's always a chance to grow, and we use that tool the best we can. And shorter week, it's a little bit different, but we use that tool the best we can to see some improvement.
Oh, and Marcus Epps' leadership.
Epps, again, I think the nature of the position, the safety position, the communication is huge. So naturally you're thrust into a leadership role, and thankfully he's embraced that, and he has natural leadership qualities in terms of the players gravitate to him in the cafeteria. The players gravitate to him when we have team building exercises. So it's always a positive there. I never met him before, but you saw on the tape that he was one of the guys from Philadelphia communicating. You heard great things about him, and that's always important for that position. Naturally, it's going to happen to a certain degree, but when it's natural for them to do it, it's A+ for us.
When Tyree was picked, the plan was to bring him along slow, obviously, as he got healthy, and hope next year he was 100%. I talked to him yesterday. He said he's still not 100 yet, which that was an expectation. How much joy do you take in your tutelage to watch guys grow and just continue to get better? That's a credit to you. He credited to you yesterday. What does that mean to you just to watch guys grow under your leadership?
The biggest thing is any teaching and technique improvement, that's coming from Robbie Leonard and Matt Edwards. Those are the guys dealing with them day to day, play to play, in and out meetings. And it's also him making a choice. Once you leave college and you don't have anything but football to do, it's a transition for them. Before they had this balanced study hall, they had the balance going to class. Now you're professional football. This is your profession. Everything you do is geared towards being the best you can for those 17 opportunities on Sundays during the fall during the fall. And I think it's their decision to do that. And I don't really want to take any credit for that. My job is to make sure I don't put him in the wrong spot, not mess it up. So, but I think it's his decision, hard work, and then the coaching he received from Robbie and from Matt. All right, thank you.
On Monday about attacking down the field.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it's what I want. I make it clear it's what I want. I asked Aiden about it yesterday. I said, is it not being called or not being executed? He said, well, how do you get attacking more into this? I know it's in the game plan, but how do you get it more on the field to help this offense?
Yeah, we got to do whatever it takes to, affect the opponent and put our guys in the best ability to make plays. And doing that does that. And, we'll have those thoughts going forward. And we do every week. We talk about it. And we'll just go out and do what we have to do as far as the execution standpoint from a play caller and a player perspective.
I realize there's a Devontae, so then there's always everybody else. He's the best in the league. But when you have the speed of a Trey or DeAndre, do you have to think about ways, okay, how can we use them to stretch the field?
We think about all of our players, and those, what are their skill sets, and you try to put them in the best ability to maximize those skill sets that they have.
You haven't, it's still fairly new. What did you learn last week?
It's just I learned that turnovers and penalties don't help drives. I did. I would be calling plays at certain spots on the field where I'm like, all right, this is where let's get to this, and then let's move down into the red area, and we'd kind of get there, and then, a play or two or a call or two, kind of you fall back behind the sticks, and you learn from it, and you battle back, and you get the group, and you get them going, and you just reset.
No, I'm not trying to relive it. But
okay.
As you're going along, is it like that didn't work? Now what? Do you start second guessing, or do you start thinking more? I
don't believe in second guessing. You don't have time to, but you do have time to reflect on what happened on a short week. But you learn. I hope everybody learns, and I've talked about that before. But from an execution standpoint, a schematic standpoint, and then just obviously for us, the most important thing that came out of that was we have to put 2 positive plays back to back. That's important. And that's the art of offensive football.
Khalil ruined a lot of what you guys wanted to do last time. I know you're in a different role this time around. I guess how do you kind of combat that? And when you look back, I guess was that sometimes sacks on a quarterback, sometimes on a line. It seemed like some of those might have been on Aiden's first start, very new. I guess how do you adjust to what happened last time?
Well, first of all, he's a great player, and we've said this each week. There's 1 or 2 out there that are game wreckers, and it's you have to put that into account when you make your plan and go out and execute it.
John Madden, obviously a Raider great coach, but a football icon, used to bemoan when he would do games. If it's 3rd and 5, you throw the ball 3 yards. Mm-hmm. How concerned are you with routes that are behind the chains, and how much does that need to change?
Well, the first part of that, it's all situational. When those calls are happening, what 3rd down, what are we? Is it a quattro call? Do we have 2 downs? Is 3rd down really 2nd down? Is it a gotta have it 3rd down? All those things come into play when you're putting your plan together, so you have those certain calls. So if it's a call that's okay in front of the sticks because you have another call, is it a run? Or is it something that needs to stretch past the sticks? So all those things kind of come into play when you're kind of putting everything together.
After last week, is this week hey, throw it out, scream and yell week? Is it maybe, hey, gallows humor, laugh about it kind of week to move on? Coaching style, reconnecting, and
be myself. Be myself. Be truthful about what we didn't do, and then also show what we did well, and really take it from there. Going into a short week for these guys too is very important.
Is the short week a positive in a way?
I think it's for either or. It's a positive. I mean, anytime you get to go out and play football, whether it's in 72 hours after you won or lose a game, or you get a full week's prep, I think it's a good way for our guys to go out and really put the product on the field that we feel good about.
In the past, when we've seen no Colt, we've seen Jermaine switch to the left. Last week, Jermaine stayed right. Thayer went left. I guess what was behind that thought process? And would you like it?
Yeah, I mean, it's given those guys opportunities at different spots, and we kind of reflect on that and just kind of move forward with our plan.
Oh, how do you think Dylan performed?
Dylan's a good football player, and he's got certain skill sets. He can kind of move around a little bit. He's very intelligent, and so we have a lot of trust in him.
Well, you guys statistically have a very good shot if you win out of still making the playoffs. I'm just curious, how excited are you to get last week behind you, get some points on the board, and get this team feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm excited every week, and in the confidence, guys. I have all the confidence in them, and it's just for us to kind of learn and take what happened last week, but also just moving into this week, reset and do the things we really want to do well, and finish the night off feeling good about that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.